which is exactly this type of idea. And I note that it's interesting. 10 years ago, just about 10 years ago, the BBC had a report, Human Species May Split in Two, talking about how humanity may split into two subspecies in 100,000 years' time, as predicted by H.G. Wells, an expert has said. Evolutionary theorist Oliver Curry at the London School of Economics expects a genetic upper class and a dim-witted underclass to emerge, basically talking about how the gene-rich and gene-poor will start to split into two different species as these genetic modifications start to take hold. And the BBC even has this illustration of this tall, 7-foot tall, broad-shouldered, sort of wonderful example of what humans could be, and this squat goblin-like creature standing next to him. And these are the ways that we're going to supposedly evolve into Eloys and Morlocks. It's insanity, but this is the actual vision of the future. And the strangest part of it is we are being taught to desire to be that squat goblin underclass creature because it's good for the planet. It will reduce carbon consumption.
I know. This whole genetics business, it sounds so strange that people almost just laugh it off. Oh, that's just too fantastic. It can't be possible. Well, it may not be possible, but these people are talking about it. And the only thing that I can conclude when these are serious people, they're serious scientists. These aren't left-wing nuts or whatever. I mean, these are credentialed and tenured scientists, for Pete's sake, talking about this. And all you can figure when you look at stuff like this is that the inmates have escaped and taken over the asylum. They look straight, they wear suits and ties, they have their white coat, whatever. They talk with, 4-syllable words. And they have a very serious expression on their face. If you look at it close enough, you realize they're really the inmates in this mess, They're just crazier than March hares. But, how they cannot confront these things is beyond me, other than just say they're out of touch with reality. It's just like, how can the carbon initiative, what was it called?
Tracker Initiative?
The Carbon Tracker Initiative. How can they, in all good conscience, kill off the oil and coal industry and have no replacement whatsoever to make up the energy deficit? How can they do that? I mean, nobody would do such a thing. It's just absolutely nuts. And yet, there they are doing it. You look at it, yes, they are doing it. That's what they're saying.
Well, I guess the other aspects of what's coming up immediately at this Paris conference are the Climate Tribunal, which apparently is part of the wording of the draft treaty of the text that they're working on right now. And also the suggestion, as has been floated for years and has been recently renewed by Bill Gates and others, is, of course, we need a carbon tax. And this steps in line with another part of the technocracy agenda that you've noted, the introduction of global taxation just one step away, using the furor over corporate tax loopholes to try to garner support for a UN-administered or other international administered taxation grid. And the carbon tax could be one foot in the door for the beginnings of that, the thin edge of the wedge, as it were. Tell us about that agenda.
Absolutely. The United Nations has been trying to get an autonomous source of income for 20 years at least, and they've tried kind of a frontal approach many times, but the way it looks like a global tax is going to be acceptable to everyone is everybody's pointing a finger at the global corporations who are evading taxes by moving assets around from Ireland to, Holland, and I don't understand the whole thing myself, but offshore countries like the Cayman Islands and so on, they're able to move money around and avoid taxes in every country, and so every countries that impose taxes are getting sick of this, but they can't touch them. They can't, America can't go to Ireland and do anything. It's their own country, but if a global tax is proposed now to stop this and everybody in the world is taxed, I mean, there you go. You got it. It's in the bag. And they're working on it right now to figure out a way to do it. And if they do it for the major corporations, essentially it's going to be for everybody else as well. The cat will be out of the bag at that point.
Unfortunately, that is the point, I think. Of course, yes, everyone's angry at these corporations that seem to skirt the grid, but of course that just means they're going to